Welcome to Healing Prayers and Bible Miracles. Today we are going to read a Bible story about Samson. Imagine a man blessed with extraordinary strength, so powerful he could tear a lion apart with his bare hands and topple an entire building with a single push. Samson, a judge of Israel, was chosen by God before his birth to deliver his people from their enemies, the Philistines. But his story is not just about his immense power. It's a tale of faith, temptation, betrayal, and redemption. It shows us how human flaws can lead to downfall, but also how God's purpose prevails, even in the most unexpected ways. Let's dive into the remarkable and cautionary life of Samson. Samson's story begins not with his strength, but with a divine promise. The Israelites, oppressed by the Philistines for 40 years, cried out for deliverance. An angel appeared to Manoah's wife, a barren woman, and foretold the birth of a son who would begin to deliver Israel. The angel gave strict instructions. Her son would be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from birth, and no razor should touch his head. From the start, Samson's life was extraordinary. Imagine the wonder and anticipation as Manoah's wife, once childless, held her newborn. God's spirit stirred within the boy, marking him for a destiny unlike any other. As Samson grew, his physical strength became legendary, a gift directly tied to his Nazirite vow. But Samson was a man of contradictions. His strength was unmatched, yet his weaknesses often led him astray. He had a volatile mix of divine purpose and human flaws, a recipe for both triumph and tragedy. One day, Samson went down to Timnah, a Philistine town, and saw a woman who captivated him. Despite his parents' warnings about marrying outside of Israel, Samson was adamant. "Get her for me. She's the right one for me." Unbeknownst to them, this was part of God's plan to confront the Philistines. On his way to Timnah, a young lion attacked Samson. Imagine the terrifying roar, the sudden lunge. But the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, and Samson tore the lion apart with his bare hands as if it were nothing. He told no one about this astonishing feat. Later, as he passed by the lion's carcass, Samson noticed bees had made honey inside it. He scooped out the honey and ate it, sharing it with his parents without telling them its source. This act symbolized Samson's tendency to blur boundaries, even those of his sacred vows. At his wedding feast in Timnah, Samson posed a riddle to the Philistines, inspired by the honey from the lion. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. The stakes were high, 30 sets of clothes. Unable to solve it, the Philistines pressured Samson's bride to coax the answer from him. Torn between loyalty to her people and her new husband, she betrayed Samson's secret. Furious at the deceit, Samson struck down 30 Philistines to pay his debt, then abandoned his wife in anger. This act set off a cycle of vengeance. The Philistines, enraged by Samson's actions, burned his wife and her family. Consumed by grief and fury, Samson retaliated, striking them down ruthlessly. He fled to a cave, where the Philistines pursued him. The men of Judah, terrified of Philistine retaliation, came to hand Samson over. Bound with ropes, Samson was led to the enemy, a seemingly hopeless surrender. But as the Philistines approached, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him once more. The rope snapped like charred flax, and Samson seized the jawbone of a donkey, slaying 1,000 men. The ground ran red with the blood of his enemies, a stark testament to his divine strength. Despite his victories, Samson's flaws remained. He fell for another Philistine woman, Delilah, whose name would become synonymous with betrayal. The Philistines offered her a fortune to discover the secret of his strength. Day after day, Delilah pressed him, weaving her words like a net around his heart. Samson resisted at first, feeding her false answers. "Tie me with fresh bowstrings," he said, "or use new ropes." Each time, Delilah tested his claims, calling the Philistines to capture him. But Samson easily broke free, mocking their attempts. Yet Delilah's persistence wore him down. She accused him of not loving her, manipulating his emotions. Finally, in a moment of weakness, Samson revealed the truth. "No razor has ever touched my head, for I have been a Nazirite dedicated to God from birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me." Delilah lulled him to sleep on her lap, and as he rested, she called for a man to shave his head. When the Philistines returned, Samson awoke to find his strength gone. Imagine his shock, his despair, as he was overpowered and his eyes were gouged out. Blind and broken, Samson was led to Gaza, where he was imprisoned and forced to grind grain like an animal. But the story doesn't end in defeat. In the darkness of his blindness, Samson's hair began to grow, a symbol of his renewed connection to God. The Philistines, drunk with triumph, held a great feast to celebrate their victory, offering sacrifices to their god, Dagon. They brought Samson out to entertain them, mocking the man who had once terrorized them. As Samson stood between the temple pillars, he prayed a final, desperate prayer. "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just once more, and let me with one blow get revenge on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." Grasping the pillars with all his might, Samson pushed with supernatural strength. The temple collapsed, crushing the Philistines and himself beneath the rubble. In his death, Samson killed more of the enemy than he had during his life. His sacrifice became a turning point for Israel, a grim yet powerful reminder of God's sovereignty and the cost of straying from his path. Samson's story is one of paradoxes. He was chosen by God, yet he struggled with his own desires. His strength was unmatched, but his weaknesses led to his downfall. And yet, in his final act, Samson fulfilled his purpose, bringing judgment upon the Philistines and delivering Israel. It's a story of divine purpose, human frailty, and ultimate redemption. Samson's life teaches us that even in our failures, God's plans can prevail. It's a tale that leaves us on the edge of our seats, marveling at the twists and turns of a life marked by both tragedy and triumph. And it challenges us to consider our own strengths, weaknesses, and the ways we can fulfill the purposes God has for us. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to be notified of our latest video. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.